the past, the past theories of origin of life, we have looked at them and we said they are four. Special creation, we said we have spontaneous theory, we said we have what we call steady state theory, and lastly we have what we call cosmosome theory. Now, in biology, whenever you're reading a theory, because I told you each year at least they will set one theory in the whole biology you will have studied. When you're reading a theory, one, learn how to state it. Altogether, about theories, what they said about theories. Theories. Whenever you're reading a theory, learn how to state it. Two, explaining it. State it and be able to explain that theory. Three, its limitations. Stating it, like here we are saying spontaneous theory, it states like that. That states that living organisms rise from non-living organisms or number. You have stated it. You'll be able to explain it. And explanation, you can give me some examples that man gave. Then lastly, limitations. Limitations means things or aspects which make his theory not right, or which does not things which the theory does not explain well, and they exist. Therefore, whenever you're reading any theory, and I told you every year they bring one theory. Like last year they brought what we call the limiting factor theory, which we look at in nutrition limiting factor theory. Therefore, always whenever you find a theory, you can have a summary of theories. Whenever you find a theory, state it there, try to explain it, because each year at least they will bring one with about 10 marks on each. Therefore, try to find out whenever you study a theory, learn how to state it, explain, and give limitation. Altogether.
Sir.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah, I'm here.
Like, if to tell you to state the theory, should it be the exact words, or like if you forget some words, they will proceed?
Now here we may not give exact words, but so long as you don't change the meaning. Altogether. Yeah, so long as you don't change the meaning, they may not be exact words. Like here, spontaneous, you say spontaneous suggests that it states that life arose from non-living materials from a number of equations. That is simple. Stated like that. Therefore, theories mainly try to give them as how they exist. Altogether. Any other question? Any other question before we proceed? Before we proceed, any other thing? Okay. Now, those are the past. Now, remember we said the second category of theories of origin is the modern. We have what we call the modern theory of origin of life. Origin of life. The modern theory of origin of life. We are going to look at this theory, the modern theory of origin of life. Now, this was stated by a German scientist called Stanley. The modern theory of origin of life. Sometimes they call it the biochemical evolution. The biochemical evolution. Either modern theory of origin of life, or sometimes they call it the biochemical evolution. Therefore, whenever you find someone talking about biochemical evolution, he just wants you to elaborate how life arose or how life came into existence using Are we there? Therefore, we are going to
Yes.
look at that theory, and we shall see what it is all about, the biochemical evolution of evolution, or the modern theory of origin of life, which is widely accepted. Now, this theory, according to this theory, it suggests that life is from chemical and physical laws. Therefore, it means this theory is, that's why they call it biochemical. It involves chemicals and driven the energy which brought about, because we are going to see that this biochemical evolution, or this modern theory of evolution, involves what? Involves things reacting. It involves chemicals reacting, and whenever you know well that chemicals to react, there must be energy. The energy we are going to look at is from physical laws, as we shall see. Now, it means this biochemical theory is mainly always is driven by chemical and physical laws, which we are going to look at. Therefore, the biochemical evolution suggests that life is from chemicals and physical laws. That is what we are going to look at and see what it involves. Now, this theory, as I told you, that the modern theory of origin of life was developed in the 1920s by Opran, a Russian scientist. Opran is the one who tried to study, and it was proven by another. You know, these scientists, when one does something, he has where he stops, then another one continues from there. Now we have another one called Stanley. He came in after some discovery of Opran. Stanley came in and finished the remaining part. Therefore, we have the modern theory of origin of life being developed in 1920s, which suggests that life is from chemicals and physical laws. Now, what does it state? Now, these chemicals, this theory we are going to look at it in 3 stages. Therefore, by this theory, it is believed that life rose by 3 stages. The rising of the life in this earth involved the 3 stages. 3 stages were involved. Formation. It started with the formation. Of small molecules. Such as amino acids, organic bases, and monosaccharides. Therefore, by this theory suggests that life developed in 2 stages. The first stage was formation of small molecules. Those small molecules was amino acids, organic bases, and monosaccharides. 2, formation of larger polymers. After we form the small molecules like amino acids, now these small molecules came together. We got large polymers. E.g., proteins, lipids, nucleotides, and polysaccharides, which are the proteins, polysaccharides. That is the second stage. Then lastly, the third stage, which was involved in this theory, or which science put across, which is involved in this theory of origin of life, was formation of organisms. After formation of large polymers, these large polymers came together and we formed organisms. But it started with the simple eukaryotes, like bacteria, the fungi are the ones which started the whole process. Eukaryotes. Then it went to eukaryotes, which led to other organisms. Therefore, if you remember in senior one, there is what we talked about, organization of organisms. They said that organisms are believed to have started with a cell, from a cell tissue. You remember that order? Tissue, organisms, then organ systems, then lastly organism. Do you remember that order? They used to tell you that we have a cell, tissue, organ system, then organ. Those are the stages. Now that is the biochemical evolution which we are looking at. Therefore, biochemical evolution, the reason why they call it chemical evolution, it involves chemicals. Chemicals, in this case, we have the hydrogen, the carbon, the oxygen, the nitrogen. Those elements came together and we got organisms, but it took very many years. Now, anything you have not understood about so far about the modern theory of origin of life, the biochemical evolution. That whenever they ask you biochemical evolution, it suggests that life came into existence from chemicals and physical laws. And it involved the three stages. It started with the formation of small molecules. From the elements, we are going to explain it, then you will understand it. But at the beginning, you need to first understand these stages. We are going to explain it in two these stages. One, formation of small molecules. You know, molecules come from elements. Now, after formation of these molecules, then these small molecules came together. They started adding together, like amino acids added together to get polymers, which are proteins, lipids, and very many others. Then lastly, the formation of organisms. Those are the stages which we are going to look at. Are we together? Any questions so far? Yes? Hello? I'm getting you. Any questions so far? Agire, any question? Yes? Okay. Now, we look at it generally. It is believed by 500 million years ago. Those years ago, the conditions on the earth were so different from that today. By these years back, the conditions on the earth were different from the conditions today. One, there were high temperatures. There were high temperatures of about 5,000 degrees Celsius to 8,000 degrees Celsius. We have started looking at the theory now, how what it involves generally, all of it. We have to first know where the earth started. And it is believed in those years the earth was empty, nothing was there. Nothing was there. 500 million years ago. And one of the conditions is that there were high temperatures by that time. But abruptly the conditions changed and the earth started cooling. The earth started cooling to 100 degrees Celsius. Imagine the earth's atmosphere cooling from this temperature to this temperature. The earth had to cool from this temperature to those temperatures there. Are we together? Are you there? Are we there?
We're there, sir.
Okay. Now, those are it is believed that there were high temperatures or above that. And abruptly, with the time, the earth started cooling and it cooled to that temperature. After cooling to that temperature, the earth developed. Number two, the earth atmosphere developed carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia, water from light elements. Now, what you have to know that when the earth was cooling, the earth's atmosphere developed different molecules. These are the simple molecules now we are looking at. How did these simple molecules? Therefore, the simple molecules, we said the first stage of formation of life or rising of life on this earth was from small was as a result. Therefore, now we have said, but this theory we just need to understand it. No one will ask you to describe it. You just need to understand it. No one will tell you to describe it. Now, after we have formed small molecules, the carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia, water, and from light elements, we say these molecules, the carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia, water, formed as a result of cooling of the earth, because we said that the earth's atmosphere was very hot, 5,000 degrees Celsius, 8,000 degrees Celsius. It cooled to 10 to 100 degrees Celsius. By cooling, it resulted into development of these molecules, which involved carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia, water, but they were formed from lighter elements. Now, after formation of these elements, now they started condensing together. Ammonia started condensing. We got amino acids, we got carbohydrates, monosaccharides, and very other simple molecules developed from these chemicals. That's why they call it biochemical, because we have these chemicals which are formed as a result of the earth cooling, giving us simple chemicals which involve the ammonia, carbohydrates, monosaccharides, and water, which all of them gathered together and found themselves in water, in the oceans. Now, after these simple molecules were formed, the carbon dioxide, methane, and then they condensed. Condensation occurred to form simple molecules. Condensation occurred to form simple molecules like amino acids, monosaccharides, and very many other things were developed. Nucleotides were developed. Then also these simple molecules went under reactions to form large molecules, which are proteins, carbohydrates, and so on. Now these ones gave up what we call cells, the proteins, the carbohydrates, and so on. Now that is the theory. We shall elaborate it more as we come back. Therefore, that is what we call by what you have to know about it mainly is to know that this is the biochemical theory. That biochemical theory states that life rises from chemical and biochemical in simple terms, what you have to know about that, when they talk about what is biochemical, you will tell them that biochemical involves formation of living organisms over a long period of time from simple molecules. Therefore, biochemical evolution involves formation of living organisms from simple chemicals. That is what we refer to as biochemical evolution, formation of living organisms from small molecules which came together as a result of the condensing of the thermometer. That's what we can refer to as
I think it's not sent.
yeah.
Maybe she's using your phone.
You answer what the problem. I'm not shut. I'm not shut.
Don't worry.
I'm not shut. Are we together? Therefore, in this thing, what you have to know about mainly, it's just a small idea. It's just a small idea. The idea is I want you to develop about biochemical evolution is knowing that this theory states that living organisms rise or living organisms rose from simple biochemical molecules which came together as a result of changing of the environment at its environmental condition. Therefore, in that case, that's what we refer to as the biochemical. What you have to know, it started with the simple molecules like amino acids being formed. Then these simple molecules led to formation of it started with the formation of small molecules. After formation of small molecules, these small molecules get into large. Then this large went into formation of small simple organisms, which simple organisms go on changing to form the complex. We shall look at it and we'll understand it more as we continue. Therefore, biochemical, that's what we refer to as biochemical. That's what we refer to as biochemical evolution. Who has any question about this? Who has any question about this? I'm hearing about biochemical evolution. Yes? Any question? Biochemical evolution.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes?
Teacher, I've not been seeing this work you've just written after this organization of cells, tissues, organs, and organisms. The work below it.
We say, how did you write the
Ah,
stages?
that
Did you see the
I
stages?
wrote.
Did you write those stages? You said this biochemical evolution, this theory is believed that life rose by 3 stages. One, formation of small molecules was the first. Two, formation of large complex molecules. Therefore, the small condensed together to form the large. Like amino acids came together to form proteins, monosaccharides came together to form polysaccharides, organic bases gave us lipids and nucleotides. Altogether. Then after that, these large polymers gave us organisms. But it started with the simple organisms. It did not start with the man, that proteins came together to form a man. No, it started with these prokaryotic organisms like bacteria. Because they are simple for them, they can easily be developed. Now they developed from, that's why when you go back and look at the structure of the bacteria cell in cytology, you will find it with simple structures, which came from these large polymers. Now, after formation of organisms, that organisms went on changing. After formation of the cell, these polymers, large polymers came from the cell, then cells form the tissues, organ, then organ form the organ system, and finally organisms. That's how an organism, which you refer to as, or the theory which you refer to as biochemical theory. Now you're talking about this, I know, but this is not important. I was trying to elaborate for you how the biochemical theory was described. I told you that how someone tried to describe it, and they did an experiment, and it was true. They believed that 500 million years ago, the Earth's atmosphere had nothing there. It had simple elements like carbon, individual elements like carbon, hydrogen, alone. But after, and the temperatures of that Earth's temperature by those years, it was between 5,000 to 8,000 degrees Celsius. But abruptly, it decreased rapidly from 10,000 to 100 degrees Celsius. As it cooled, as the Earth's atmosphere cooled, those elements came together and formed the small molecules like carbon dioxide, methanol, ammonia, and the water, which later condensed together. I was just taking through. It's just like in organic chemistry, when you look at a synthesis, you get this, from this you get the other, until you go to a final product. Now it started with elements. Those elements came together to form small molecules. Then those small molecules gave us larger polymers. Then those larger polymers gave us organisms. But organisms started with a cell, tissue, organ, and organism. Therefore, we are just looking at the stages which we call the biochemical evolution. Therefore, when we talk about biochemical evolution, when someone takes you biochemical evolution, this biochemical evolution involves changes that occur in molecules of a living organism. Over a period of time. Therefore, when we talk about biochemical evolution, you tell me that biochemical evolution suggests that life, you talk about life arising from simple molecules, which came together to form organisms as a result of changing in environmental condition. We shall look at the real, which you can state directly. We shall look at it. Now, that's what we call biochemical evolution. Hope you have picked something little about biochemical evolution. Any question? Biochemical evolution. I'm waiting for if there is any question. Hmm? Is there any question about this biochemical evolution theory, which involves change, which involves the change in the molecular level of living organisms over a period of, you can put this one down. You can put this one down. This is what we call, are you seeing this? Therefore, this is, therefore, biochemical evolution involves change that occurs at a molecular level in organisms over a period of time. It's also called the molecular evolution into small mutations. Therefore, this is what you can state. That one you see I'm underlining up to here. Therefore, all molecules keep on changing from simple to complex. From C, you can add them from simple to complex, because it started with the carbon dioxide, with methane, with what, then it got to amino acids, monosaccharides, then it went to proteins, carbohydrates, then it went to a cell. Therefore, it involves change that occurs at the molecular level in living organisms over a period of time, from simple to complex. That is what we refer to as biochemical evolution. Any question? Are you seeing that thing I have underlined? Clear. Involves change that occurs at a molecular level. Molecules keep on changing from simple to complex. That's what I'm trying to mean. It started with elements. Elements came together to give us molecules. Molecules gave us polymers. Then polymers gave us cells, which cells went on developing into a tissue and so on. Just a gradual process, but involving physical laws, which results into these molecules reacting together. I'm about. Yes? Any question? Nalule, Osika, Body, and Indagire. Any question?
No question, teacher.
Have you understood what we call biochemical evolution? Therefore,
Yes.
biochemical evolution involves change in the chemical composition of an organism from simple to complex. Therefore, that statement I have highlighted there is just involving change in the molecular composition of an organism. The chemicals become from simple to complex. Therefore, in this theory, scientists believe organisms developed from simple molecules like carbon, like hydrogen, like oxygen, which are those elements, as the environmental conditions were changing, they condensed together to form simple molecules like water, methane, carbon dioxide, altogether, those simple molecules. Then those simple molecules went on to condense to form polymers, proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, water. Then those molecules, which are polymers, gave us cells. Therefore, as they are changing, it means the molecular level of organisms is changing. That's why you're seeing, I'm saying the molecular level in organisms, the molecules go on changing from simple to complex. Hope and everyone has got what is biochemical evolution. Change in the molecular level. Molecular level, I mean the chemicals keep on changing from simple to complex. I don't want to read something which is not understood, at least someone must pick an idea. Now we have finished the introduction of evolution. One, we have looked at what is evolution. That we said, I can go through as we're completing within 2 minutes. We shall be finishing. I said evolution is a gradual process by which new species are formed from the pre-existing one for a long period of time. Then we said origin of life. Origin of life involves 5 theories, but those theories are put in 2 categories: the past theories and the modern theories. The past theories, we started with the state theory, which states that the theory, the earth and the living organisms in it have been in existence. What changes is the number and their nature. The number and their nature. Then after that, we have special creation, which suggests that the earth and its living organisms was created by a superhuman being called God. 3, we said we have cosmosome theory, which suggests that life arose from elsewhere in the universe and arrived by certain means on the earth, which means he failed to explain. But for us, we are not concerned with that. Then spontaneous theory suggests that life arose from non-living material on a number of occasions. Now you can go in those textbooks about this theory of spontaneous theory. You'll find different occasions given to you. Then lastly, we looked at I told you when you have to explain a theory, make sure you state, explain. Whenever you're reading any theory, make sure you know how to state it, explaining it, and giving its limitations. Then after that, we looked at what we call the modern theory. Because we said our theories or our origins of life, the theories of origin of life are categorized into two, the past and the modern. The past we have seen before. Now the modern theory of origin of life is the biochemical evolution, which suggests that life rose from simple molecules, simple chemicals, as a result of physical laws, in this case, which we have stated here, as that biochemical evolution involves change that occurs at a molecular level. Molecules keep on changing from simple to complex in a living organism, therefore resulting in two organisms changing. Have you understood that? Yes? Now, the next time we are going to meet, that is, I think, Monday, we are going to start from theories of evolution. I don't want you to confuse theories of origin of life and the theories of evolution. What we have looked at, those things suggest where life, the hypothesis which were put across to explain where life came from. Now, what we are going to look at is how do these organisms change, and we are able to get different species which are different, organisms which are different. That is a theories of evolution. Here we are going to look at 3. 1, theory of evolution, Down Charles, and the third, which we call the New Down's theory of evolution. Yeah, which will be next week, I think, on Monday. Let me wish you well. Have a good day.